going, everyone? So, a few weeks ago I went to the junkyard and I picked up a new mirror for my Miata because the old glass had fallen off on it like 2 or 3 times now, and I just figured at this point it's going to cost me just as much to get a whole new mirror than just try to replace the glass again, get an OEM glass. An OEM glass is like another $10 as compared to a entire used mirror, so that's why I went that route. But if you guys haven't seen that video, that was one of the more enjoyable videos I have ever made, so make sure to check it out. I'll put a link up in one of the corners up here. But before we get started, I gotta bring the Miata in the garage and move this 9.3 convertible out of the way, so let's get to it. So replacing the physical mirror on this car is probably about the easiest thing ever to replace on any car in the history of everything. Literally all you have to do is twist the mirror, if I can twist it. Clearly it's proving more difficult than I thought. And then you reveal 2 screws right there, and that's all that's connecting it to the door. However, once you disconnect it, you have this cable that runs down and connects somewhere in the door panel, and that is for the power mirrors. Now, the power mirrors on this car don't exactly work very well, so I could just do it a quick, cheap way and cut the wire, but I'm going to do it the right way and remove the door panel. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start by removing this little Phillips head that's right here in the center of the door lock. It should just slide right off like that. Now we're going to attempt to pop this old plastic cover off right here. That will reveal a screw to get this door handle off. There we go, nice and easy. And we have more Phillips heads under here. These ones are actually significantly bigger than the other one. And the only screwdriver I have that's big enough is this little stubby one. So that's why I'm using that. And I hate using it, but it's the only one that's going to work. It's actually a really long screw for what it is. One thing you might want to note is that the one on the bottom is actually significantly shorter than the one on the top. So make sure you remember where those go. So now we have a variety of plastic clips along the outside, and that should be the last step to remove this door panel. So just go ahead, go around, try to be careful with it, so that way you can put your door panel back on. Try to use 2 hands. This last one over here, it's got this little cover on it, is actually another Phillips head. Oh shoot. So, door panel is off. That was actually extremely easy. I did almost no cuts in that. They all came off without a problem, really. Now I gotta figure out, there's only a couple cables I can really see. I think it might be this one that's conveniently right behind the window, so I'm gonna have to roll the window up. There she is right there. So I am going to figure out how to disconnect this, because at the junkyard we cut it right after the connector. So I'm going to figure out how exactly this disconnects. We'll just push down this tab right here and then disconnect it down there. That was a bit tricky to get that wire connector apart, but as you can see, it'll come through. Finally got it. There's the old mirror right there. Here's the new one. As you can see, it is fairly dirty right now. There I am. So I'm going to wipe this down before I put it on. Good as new. So let's go ahead and put her on, and then we'll go ahead and connect up the wire and put everything back together how it should be. And of course, the sun is at a perfect angle right now where there's a giant glare and whatnot on the screen, so thank you, sun. Now time for the door handle, and remember that the smaller of the two screws goes on the bottom. Now time for the door handle cover. Now this looks like it's a little bit tricky to put back on the correct way, so I'm holding it open as much as I can and just kind of slipping it over like this. Perfect, right back where it should be. So there you have it, guys. That is how to remove the door panel and replace the mirror on a Mazda Miata, first generation Miata. I looked up a couple videos before I did this install to see how complicated it was. Believe it or not, I didn't know how hard it would be to remove the door panel because it's much more difficult on my Turbo X right there than it is on this. It looks like there's a couple different iterations of door panels for at least the first generation Miata. So if your door panel is slightly different, like for example, if you have a crank window like my dad's Miata right there does, instead of power windows like mine, you're gonna have to remove that crank thing, which I believe there's like some little spring clip up in there that you just need to stick a flathead or a pry tool up there to pull it out. So I got a little bit lucky, didn't have to do that, and I'm also lucky because I have power windows, right? So with that being said, that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. I'm gonna be happy that I can now see out of my left side without having to like go like that every time before I merge over. So that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'll see y'all next time. So, turns out my power mirrors actually do work, so I'm glad that although they make a really annoying noise, almost like a child whining, they work, so I'm glad that I took the extra time to take the door panel off.